gawking. It's called gawking. If someone sees me doing that, they can say, I saw him doing that. I saw him looking. He's being perverted, if that makes sense.
That's why I say it all comes down to intent. They don't know your intent, so all they can do is make a
You're gonna
judgment.
express it, and the grantor gets to set the rules of the trust when it's expressed, and you're the grantor. So you don't have to worry
Which
about
trust
what
are
law.
you expressing?
Anytime you create which trust, okay, whichever one we're looking at. Okay, we were talking about the tertium quid, so obviously that's going to relate to the initial informant signing a piece of paper, is it not? It is, right? All
Yeah,
she
yeah.
had to do was special the trust deposit as grantor and name the 10 commandments and the Lord's Prayer as the rules of her trust. Boom, now you're done and you're safe because that which is expressed extinguishes that which is implied.
Okay. Okay. I heard what you
Bam,
just
there you
said.
go.
But if she's not accepted into the church before then or asked for accepted into the church, can she make that grant? That's the question. Is she able, is she pre-qualified, is she legally qualified in their state of religion to make such a grant, legal grant?
Uh,
In,
legal
in,
grant?
in parentheses, it says usually, okay, so again, the result of which is purely negative in every case in which a name has been a more or less material issue. So think material. The real point at issue has been something else. That's the tertium quid, parentheses. Usually, again, usually, not always, not forever, not immutable. Usually, the interpretation of a trust clause, and the matter of the name has been merely correlative. So I think that kind of what we're talking about and what you answered your question. It's suggestive. It's voluntary.
Well, yeah, everything on that side of the bar has to be voluntary by consent. If it's not, it's involuntary servitude under slavery. So they can't have that onus on the church. So they have to do inducing advertisement of initiatives, so to speak, presentments, legal presentments to you in a way that is going to induce you to fall an angel for at an angle for that to make that mark on that to animate it. If not, it's slavery, and they're not going to. I just don't think they present slavery. They may present involuntary servitude of beasts of burdens who don't know who they are or where they come from, who self truck, who self load, who railroad themselves within that church and that construct. If I know the difference between where the bar sits and this side and that side, would I ever cross it knowing that it's all of usury? No, I wouldn't. For 53 years, I didn't know that. Well, actually, a couple 51 years, I didn't know that. Last couple of years, I did know this. So, what happens when someone presents me with an inducing offer of a usury, most of the time unilateral, unconscionable contract? I simply notice them back and say, brother, forgive me, but I think it's my research perception of this worldly things that even your codes state that I'm set apart from this. I can't accept this the way this is. And if you want to move forward and force this upon me, I think it needs to be sent to any agent and agency of board of contractor review that you are an agent of, or the other man behind this are an agent of. So their principle, religious principle and mentality can make a determination to see if it's even applicable to me. And I've done this. This is firsthand provable fact with an attorney, a judge, and a realtor who tried to sell the legal overlay, this lesbian Babylonian whore that smothers our Mother Earth, the thing that creepeth, and pushed her away. My possessory interest stands, and no man can walk upon it. Now, do they have a safety easement? Yeah, because I've clarified that that's okay, but they have to notify me first.
This is an awesome group. Man, it's just, yeah.
To me, it's all about use because if I start making I don't know what a tree is. I'm a dummy. I've always been ignorant of nature and the things of this world because I say that because I don't know what a tree is. I just know that everybody before me has called it a tree. I won't know what that tree is till I meet my maker, the he, she, or it that created it, that has the divine right to call it what they want. So do I call it a tree? Yeah, in common Babylonian scattered tongue fork languages that they mushed all together to create their Proto-Indo European languages with roots that are parasitic from all over the world through the 40,000 religions that they offer us and the 30,000 languages that they offer. Sure, I'll call it what they want to call it. But when it comes to undie nature and Mother Earth, that is to me the true trust that was offered. And if I receive, if I accept it and receive it in full satisfaction, accorded with my divinity, and He recognizes that, that is my that is my faith. My full faith and credit is within that trust. Him, Mother Earth, and me, and my force and effect comes directly from that, and all men have agreed upon that throughout all time, because guess what, they've recorded it on their records. They carved it in their walls, they put it in their Congress 97-280. Their version of what I just said, the King James, is on record. So why would I ever move into trust law or contract law or all these other law forms at law in REM stage, which REM is REM, rapid eye movement, sleepy time, sleepwalking, deadheading. But I don't. It, to me, it's really simple. If I don't convolute it, if I start convoluting it, I confuse myself and become a one USC one insane person.
Going back to the material, if you're gonna, people want to do the common law or the what are these state nationals? You're on the res, RES, the residue. Now you're going back into the tertium quid again. So yeah, again, brother, I agree. Actually, you're not my brother. I only have one biological brother. Hey, man, you're correct. Yeah, that's another thing I got. Personally, I don't want to. Hey, don't call me brother, because I have one biological brother. No offense to nobody, but that's what I'm saying.
Can I expand on that? I'll expand on it just a second. But I hear what you're saying. When I hear fabric, okay, when I hear fabric, when I hear material, I keep hearing in my mind when you say that subject matter. And their subject matter doesn't matter to me, because I know they're using barbatry terms, terminologies of terminal figures, which if I accept those as that, that's a grave error for me, because my now time private record glossary has now time words that are immovable and unshakable, because they don't have prefixes and suffixes on them, and they're always used in positive performance. They are never used to bind any man to me, or me to any other man in usury ever. And that's a pre-qualifying thing that I put in my notices. If you keep reading continually, our private contract is that no word, even if I slip, loose lips sink ships, even if I slip up and use a word that you deem it has negative connotation, it's not to be taken that way. Strike it out and ask me what I mean by that. That's fair on both sides. And my interest in noticing people is to extend love. Most people out here go out here running and gunning and still playing cowboy Indians as a little boy. Here's where I want to get into the brother part. I have a woman inside of me. I have a mother, I have a father, I have a sister, brother, cousins, and uncles. They're all inside of me. I'm secure in my person, so they don't come lashing out in playtime, recessing myself when men approach me. When men try to engage me, whether it be in intercourse, hedonistically fornicating intercourse of commerce, or trying to trying to mar me with their strife, I'm having life, they're having strife. When they try to bring that usury to me, it's up to me to keep my head about me when all others are losing theirs. So the onus is always on me, not them. They are being beasts of burden. They'll tell you, "Hey, I'm so and so that works for so and so." Oh, I see, you're one of those. Okay, what do you need? And are you even qualified to talk to me? Does it say in your codes that you're not even qualified to talk to me if I'm set apart? He's going to say, "Well, are you set apart?" Yeah. Well, I need to check my records about that. What's your name? I don't have one. Set apart people don't have a name. You should know that. If you don't know that, go get your supervisor and he'll tell you that. These things are very simple, but everybody makes them so crazy. It's crazy town. It's Toontown out here.
Please tell me your writings.
I'm sorry, but it sounds like you're advocating the same as like Real Deep Square has been for a couple, 2-3 years now. abandoning your interest in that estate. So therefore, which is called a name, and so therefore you're not able to clean up all those debts that you created with the blanket endorsements for 51 years.
Well, it may sound like that to you, but that's not what's happened at all. And I don't know who you keep referring to, Deep Square. That has nothing to do with me, and nothing that you just said has anything to do with me. So you're assuming of me, but I'll add to what you just said. What I am doing is collecting, so to speak, the informations that I put out there with my mark on them, and I'm rescinding those properly and prudently and sagaciously, so there's no more usury taking place. And any man holding those usury contracts with my mark on them, they have to give them back, which if it ruins their lives, it ruins their corporate commercial life, because they don't have corporal thought in their head. They are being unincorporated souls, walking deadheads with absolutely no head. They're just walking aimlessly. They think they're moving through life fast and being in a hurry and being successful, when in fact they're standing idle in statue.
How could you, if you don't have a name, how can you rescind the signature on things with a name on it?
Because it's all done in the real private, not in the private sector, moving like a queen, which you could never be.
Using a name, you'd have to identify
no.
that name to even do this with that name that you say you don't have.
Slow down. You're adding to what I'm saying, JW, through your understanding. You're putting it through your filter, and you have to release that to have a
Really
conversation.
I'm asking how in the hell you're going to send me a private message saying you rescinded your signature on the name that you used when you say you don't have a name. You're going to have to connect yourself to that name to rescind the signature on that name. So you're stuck in a little catch-22 there.
No, because you don't understand the full realm of what I'm saying. When I talk,
I think I do. I'm not stupid. I'm not immature either.
Well, then don't take it like that. You're getting defensive, and there's no reason to get defensive.
Let me interject and be the peacemaker here, okay? Can I be allowed to do that?
Well, when we start to getting somewhere, somebody starts interjecting it. Let me finish what I said, then you can interject if that's okay. What he's doing.
I want to maybe phrase it differently. I want to come in the middle, and maybe you tell me, direct your answer to me instead of JW. Maybe that might help.
Okay, I'll do that, Eric. So what men do is they tread in walls. They put walls up and they start treading in the walls, and they can't get out of those walls. It's the Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall, and all the king's men couldn't put him back together again, because Humpty Dumpty has to do it. He has to do the egging. It's his egg. It's his camera. He has to focus it properly. So to add what JW said and to direct it toward you and have a conversation with you, is I'm talking to these men through correspondence outside of the at-law in-rem jurisdiction of the local level contract administration. I'm above that. I'm even above international law, because I'm in private contracting with these men. Once they receive a notice and open it and look at it, they are now bound by my loving offer, my love letter to them through brotherly love of the agape provident grace that I'm extending, that they've already agreed to. They're just waiting for me to show up as a people. The reason.
Okay, wait. Let's put it in layman's terms. So I'm your automobile financer that's coming after blah 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 blah. How do you send a letter? How do you send a letter to me without what JW was asking, without a signature, without a name? So I'm your automobile financing company.
I got it. I would notice the people. I would notice the people that own the finance company, the man himself that owned the finance company, forward it to the commissioners and the attorney general, and ask everyone to forward the contract to the board of contract and review, so it can be pre-qualified, predetermined that I'm legally qualified to even make the mark. If that doesn't go through, I'm rescinding the mark. But even if I was qualified, they need to determine. They never had the hearing from the get-go. There was never a Walmart greeter at the door saying, "Are you an Army surplus buyer, or are you set apart?" The greeter didn't greet me at the door. I didn't know.
No. I'm talking. Okay, so you're talking about the body. I'm talking about like your header, your address, your contact information, your mailing address, your postal, your NAC, whatever you want to do, and then how. Then you have to close it out with a thumbprint, a seal, a stamp, something. So you're talking about the body here. I'm talking about
No,
so how do you make a header and then how do you close it?
no, you're thinking about the body. I'm talking about the notice itself. That's what's in the notice. So as what's in the notice, I can I can mark the notice at the end of the notice any way I want to, because it's a living soul man making the mark. I'm writing this notice out. So when I notice the men, I'm doing it outside the federal trade zone, outside of the zoning improvement plan, outside of the at-law interim contract, religious contract administration, because it's not usury. I'm not putting this notice of correspondence forth to use any man in any way. That's what makes it outside. And if I do the notice right and keep it in the now time, not in the past sorrow or the future happiness, this is how people live in these states of depressions of man, the humors of man. That's really what they're regulating. The insane persons that is not secure within themselves. When I notice a man, it is always in the now time, in the presence of our Most High, and it never moves. If I move it within that notice, I value myself.
Did you say something about sorrow? Because the angles of sorrow are 90 degrees, and 90 degrees is a piece of paper, by the way. That's another. So did you say something about angles of sorrow? Did I hear you correctly?
Sorrows sorrows can be at the angles when they get trapped in the square. That's what circle the square is all about. If you're stuck in your chamber in your camera in your mind, you can't. You're trying to glean from the corners, but you can't because they're stuck in those angles. So if you're going to circle your mind, there is no angles to get trapped in the dark spaces, so you can glean from the whole full circumference of it. That's what the circumpunct is all about. If you look at that circle with the dot in the middle, you can grab a hold of that dot and pull it this way, it becomes conical, or you can push it that way and it becomes conical, but it's never a column. I'm never building or being built by anything. I'm not high horse, and I'm not high in the ether somewhere, and I'm intoxicated by youth of those states of depression, or by the youth, the little boy in me or the little girl in me that's acting out in some sort of manner. I'm secured in my persons, and those things never happen to me anymore.
So you do use a name on this rescission letter, then? Yes or no?
No, I don't. What I use
So
is a
they don't know who it
mark.
came from. That's amazing.
Yeah,
So you're securing your persons, but you don't use a person when you write a letter about rescinding the signature on your person. Okay, I'm confused.
JW, you're not trying to understand. You're trying to be divisive.
I'm trying
That's
to
what
get
you're
you to
being.
directly answer the question. This is a very
I did.
simple question that you've taken
Okay,
5 minutes
I'll
now
answer
and
it
have
for
not
you.
answered.
I'll answer it for you.
You,
I make a mark on my notice, and it's not a rescission letter. It's a notice of correspondence. I'm just writing a love letter to the man back and forth. That's all it
I'm going to
ever
ask you
is. And
about
it's like
marks. What do you mean by mark? Thumbprint? I mean, where's the name? How do they know what name you're talking about? Well, you're talking about 90-degree angles and all this esoteric shit.
JW, I'm not going to sit here and regurgitate or recite my private notice to you on this public forum. You know I'm not going to do that, and you keep trying to make me
You
do
just
that
said you
because
don't have a name, and now you do use names in the
I
private
don't
then.
have a name.
You don't
I
have
don't
one? Do
use
you
names
use
in the
one?
private.
Do
You're
you
saying
use
that.
one?
No, I
Do you
don't use
use
one.
one? Are you being tricky and just trying to get out of it by you're going to say I use it, I don't have one? Or
I've
like, what's
said
your
3
game here?
times I don't use one, and you keep going on about
Why
me.
does it say Robert Brown right here on the screen if you don't use a name? Oh, I'm confused.
What's that got to do with anything? Am I contracting with you right now?
You use names. Well, you're contradicting yourself. I can say that much.
No. When you said I use names, you're asking me. I know what you're asking me. You're asking me if I'm using it in a legal form. That's what you're asking me. Is that not correct?
No, not exactly. You said you
Oh,
have none.
well, you can't be
I
honest in the
don't care if
conversation.
you want to get into the weeds on whether it's equitable or legal or quasi or concurrent jurisdiction, because I know you like to get off in the weeds like that. But we're just asking you
I
very
do.
simply, how are you going to send a letter revoking a signature that you made and without using the name associated with it? You either don't have a name or you do. Which is it?
Well, because you want to apply the word using as make an application and grant. I'm not doing that within the
No, actually, I don't.
correspondence. I'm never doing that.
For me,
Okay,
Bobby.
hang on. I'm gonna change the word.
Yeah.
Association.
And the
How are
use
they
to
going
me
to
is a trust.
associate you with the name or whatever mark you use?
The
Yeah, but
problem
we
is
use it. Another definition, real quick, though, for use is a trust. When I say I'm using something, I'm communicating that it's in trust. So that's what's
okay.
a
I'm going to use
sesticate used?
animating. You want to look that up? You want to look
What's a
that up,
sesticate
animating?
used?
You're putting everything through your filter. You want to put everything on that side of the bar.
You're
And that's
putting
not
everything
the
through
way it
your
works.
filter that thinks it knows my filters. Give me a break.
Everybody can hear you doing it. I'm not saying anything
No, everybody can hear
out of
you
context.
saying that you can read my mind, and you know what I mean by the word use and things like this.
JW, everything that you said is on that side of the bar. Everything that you have stated is on in a form of
I'm not
law
on
on
either
that
side
side.
of any bar, man. I'm trying to have
Yeah, you are.
personam communication with you. You said you don't have a name.
I
So
don't.
I asked you how you're going to write a letter to somebody about the name that you've used in the past without giving them a name now,
Okay,
or associating yourself with the name.
Let me answer that
Like
again.
right here,
Did you hear me this
you
time?
can't do, like I said, you can't do anything in the world without a name. That's why you have to have this avatar called Robert Brown on the screen right here. You're using it. I'm not saying it is you, but you are
Okay,
using it.
I'm gonna change the word so you can understand that. I'm animating that handle that I'm calling a handle. You're calling it a name, Robert Brown. When I send a notice of correspondence to a man, like if I sent you a notice, it would come to you with a handle, with a calling that you're calling a name. And when I use it, I just said clearly that as soon as you start reading that notice, you can't hold me to any at law in rem form whatsoever that is in usury. But you miss that part because you want to take you want to make everything fit into what you already understand. You don't want to have an honest
That part's
conversation.
beside the
You
point.
want to make it fit in your understanding
No,
of
that
things.
part,
I can
that
tell
all
you.
that's
Well, hold on,
way,
hold
no,
on.
all
Let
that
me
is
finish.
all that's beside the point.
I can
The
tell.
point
I
is
can
that you
tell.
say that you could stand there and tell guys with uniforms
It's
on
not. That is the
that you
point.
don't have a name and that they should know better than to try to
I
talk
have
to you
done that.
because you're set
I
apart
have
and you
done that.
don't have a
I
name,
have done that.
but you can't do
I have
anything
done that.
without a name. If you don't have a name, you don't have
I
an
have done.
estate, you can't own anything, you have no use or control of anything because you can't put anything in your name. Like my certificate of title for the car that I use, the
not
car that I
true.
use, it says right
That's
on the
not true.
certificate of title who the registered owner is, and then it has first, middle, last right there. That's the registered owner, not the state.
JW, when you keep saying you can't do anything, what I hear you saying, you can't do anything in commerce. That's what I hear you saying. When
You
you
can't
keep
do
saying you
anything in
can't do
trust
this, you
either.
can't do that.
You can't be a trustee or a
Yes, I
beneficiary.
can.
Look,
I
equity
can.
acts on the
I can
person.
do all.
Without a name
I can
to
do
name the
all things.
beneficiary, you will receive zero
Okay,
equity, brother. But you guys all want to
that's
drop
not
the name. And
true.
I'm saying you're abandoning your state when you're doing
That
it. That's my main point.
I'm abandoning their estate that I've animated my whole life
That
that they
God made
benefit
them
for their
put out
profit.
there for you to use. It's
Hold on a
a
second.
talisman. It's either good or bad, depending on your point of view. Now,
It's clear.
you're
It's clear to me
rejecting the
that you're
gift
not
of the
doing these
inheritance
things.
is all you're doing. And you're trying to make a great argument for it.
Rejecting the gift.
Yeah, you're
I
rejecting a
don't need
gift.
an
Blessed are the
inheritance. I don't need
peacemakers
an
who
inheritance from the
accept,
queen.
agree with thine adversary quickly, right? But you want to be belligerent and reject the gift that they gave you of being redeemed without money for the rest of your life using that certificate with that name on it. It's a rejection of the gift. That's what it is.
I don't need their money.
It's okay. A
I don't need their
beneficiary just
mammon.
cannot be
I don't need their
forced
mammon.
to be a beneficiary.
No,
So
the name's an unclean thing.
You know what? You know why they say a beneficiary can't be forced to be a beneficiary? Because if he don't want to play playtime, he doesn't have to play playtime. That's it. That's why they say that. I don't want a grant from the queen. I don't want her mimicry and mockery of the divine trust that I just described. My faith, full faith and credit, comes from our Most High and our Mother Earth. That is the trust that I express. You're expressing another man's trust, another man's made up abstract
No,
art.
you're
That's what you're
assuming
adhering
that
to. I
you
make
think
my
you
own.
can read my mind, and
No,
you're
hold
putting
on a
words in my
second. Hold
mouth,
on a second.
and I don't appreciate that.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you're
I'm not
putting words in
assuming
my mouth.
anything.
Yes, you are.
No, no, no.
That's absolutely what you're
You
doing.
just said, did you just say that you are expressing the trust of the state, the probated,
No,
antecedent will?
no, no, it's not what
What
I
do you mean
said.
no? Well, hold on a second. Okay, explain it to me then. What trust
What,
are you expressing?
by their deeds ye shall know them. It's in the scriptures, right? You say you have faith. You just said you have faith.
Okay, So you're
The Bible
expressing the
says
King
faith
James
without
version,
deeds is dead,
right?
right? I have a deed, an act or a thing done, recorded and
Okay.
memorialized. As above, so below.
Okay.
Man,
Where's the?
you think you can go
Okay.
purely
Are we
like
going to have a
you
discussion?
don't want to?
Are we going to
You
have a
don't even want to put
discussion
an
back
X
and
on a
forth, or are
piece
you
of
just going to
paper
let
and
it
you're gonna.
roll?
But how did you get HUD to stop your foreclosure without using the name on the paper and all that? Was that a benefit from a worldly legal
No,
bar, blah
no.
blah
It
blah?
wasn't. This is why nobody
You
can
wrote a
talk
letter to
about
HUD and
anybody.
asked them to stop your foreclosure,
On
right?
and
So you
on
took a
and on.
benefit from the state in the name that was given for you to use, right? But now
There's
here
no
a few months
benefit.
later,
There's no benefit from the
now that
state.
you're done taking the benefits from the state, going through HUD to stop your foreclosure, now you're lecturing us on how you don't have a name. I got it.
I'm not lecturing anybody. I'm sharing what I've done, and I've proven to myself. You're the one.
Oh, we're all outlaw, in
See,
ram, and delusional, and but you're like a super like guru guy who never needs even to use a name. You're like Neo, man. You're
I'm
amazing.
a super guru.
So,
Has anybody heard of me on this call?
when you
But I'm a
contacted
super
HUD
guru.
about Robert Brown, I guess I don't know how you could associate with that name since you have no name. When you
Well,
say
because you're not listening. I didn't contact
JW just gave you one.
HUD
They're
about the name.
now on.
I didn't
So
contact HUD about the name. I contacted HUD about the contract because contract makes the law. The
it
spirit of
had a
the
name
words
on it,
makes the law. And
equity acts
and
on the
you were
person.
you're so
You got to
stuck
have
on
a
the name
person.
that you can't get past you can't understand what I'm saying.
You just can't
You're
admit
not
that you
very
used the
listening.
name to go through HUD to get a benefit from the state that you say you're
I
above.
didn't do that. Why would I admit that when I didn't do that?
Well, that's what you said on Derek Zoom about last year.
No, it is not. No, it is not. You're sitting there lying to these people. You always tried to get me to admit that I did that, and you wouldn't listen 2 years ago, and you're not listening right now.
No, 1 year ago, you said your foreclosure was stopped because only HUD could initiate a foreclosure. You were in Derek's Zoom.
No.
And several
You're
people
misremembering.
emailed you
You're
to ask you
you're
more
mis
about where was the contract. You said you contacted the HUD contract something board. That's what you told us.
Yeah, I explained that. But you're too busy talking to listen. I never had
You've been
a
talking.
mortgage.
I know you love to
I
talk and you don't like tough questions,
hold
so I'll
on a
just
sec.
be quiet and listen to you. Razzle
I have
dazzle,
to
everybody.
clarify
Have
everything
fun,
you
brother.
say because you can't remember properly.
Oh, I
I
remember
never had a
quite well.
mortgage.
HUD contract review board, buddy. I remember
Never
perfectly
contact.
well. So let's hear the razzle dazzle now.
Yeah. Well, you got that. You're just an immature man. That's all there's to it. There's no discussion. I'm sorry,
Oh,
folks.
because
There's
I
never a
got you in
discussion
a
with Jay.
corner. Because I cornered you, saying you don't
No,
use a
you.
name, you have no name, you're set
Somebody
apart,
mute him so I can
and
explain
you're
it.
not
I can't explain
delusional.
it.
You
You're
don't
just
deal
going
with
on and
delusional
on and on.
fictional state things in RAM, blah blah blah.
I don't.
But you ran
okay,
right
hang
to
on,
HUD.
hang on.
You ran foreclosure.
JW.
He's insane.
Well, hold on, because the way you've described it and the way I'm perceiving it, and I'm just listening to both y'all go on, and that's fine and dandy. Y'all can agree to disagree, but I'm having an issue. Well, it's not even an issue. I don't quite understand how you can present yourself, let's just say a clerk for simplicity's sake, and not have a name and just say, I am who I am, and then have them associate I am who I am with whatever you're trying to do with the clerk. Because the clerk, you're just looking at another man, a human body. So
Okay.
you have to
I'll
associate
tell
it
you
with
how.
a number or a name, because that's how society works. You're either a number or a name or
Exactly. Well, uh, Floyd,
Okay,
I'm not a number or name.
what I tried to say.
The-
I tried to put it into the context of, okay, you're trying to discharge, you're trying to do whatever, deal with the court, deal with I don't know, deal with me. I painted your house. I gave you an invoice. Okay, so you gotta have.
Okay. So. Okay.
Oh,
Let's
hold
use the
on,
invoice example.
hold on. I have a perfect analogy. Okay, Robert Brown. What do your utility bills look like?
I don't have utility bills.
So you have 0 bills, no
I
cell
have
phone
0
bills,
bills. I
no
have
internet
0
bills.
things in my I have 0 things in their name. Let me rephrase that. The analogy the guy was going to put forth. He gives me an invoice. I
Uh-huh.
clearly notice him that I can't accept this invoice. I forward it to the people that needs to review it. If he's a, insurance contractor, or if he's what is if he gave me an invoice to repair something on the home, and I take that invoice, he's obviously bonded and insured, so they have a risk management that has to review the contract to see if I can either accept it, or if he should have had me mark that and him deal with the paperwork, because he's of usury and I'm not. He has the onus, not me, the guy that marked it. He has. They flip the script and saying that I have it. No, no. If he's a corporation, if he's saying he's an organized corporation and he's a full mind and thought, he has access to the federal window. He has access to cash out and use cash to do those things in usury. Not me. He's here to serve the people. He's not. I'm not a legal customer. I'm not marking that as a legal customer because I don't have a delegation authority to mark that as a legal customer. But I have my past 50 years until I come spiritually aware. Now, when I mark something, it gets handled accordingly, and no man can give me that usury presentment. That is a debt obligation to the United States. We all know this. Why am I taking on the debt if my creator passed away for all my debts? Why would I do that? I won't. I'll give it back to him to deal with the debt like he should do in the first place. That's how simple it is.
Okay, so that was a great explanation for an invoice. So what we're trying to visualize is, do you like live in a tent in the middle of the woods with no electricity, no water bill, no Wi-Fi bill, no cell phone bill, no automobile payment, no loans, no credit cards, no bank account, any of that, health insurance, because all of that requires either a name or a number or both that has to associate those two alphanumerical characters with you, the man, with the name that your mother gave you. So, what does that look like? How's that connection? How do you deal in the real world by not having a name or not using a name? So
It
that's what we're trying to look at and visualize and comprehend.
Everything that you just said has to have a firm number and a nom de gore, a legal entity tied to it on that side of the bar. I'm not on that side of the bar. I'm on this side of the bar. I'm away from that set apart. During the notice, everybody keeps missing. I clarify first part of the notice that I'm not in usury. I don't use negative performing terms of terminal figures. I use now time words. Here we are. And as I write
Uh,
that notice in that body, in the body, when they're reading this notice, they understand that I am sound minded because of the words I choose to use. And when I mark that at the bottom right corner, the catchword I use, if you want to go look up that word, catchword, very important. It's the uttermost word on the bottom of the right page. That's a now time word. Okay. I use my moniker, my motto, my calling that I choose to use that's outside of their legal entity world, and that's how it's associated. They see that I sign this as a living soul man, and I'm writing them about a usury contract that is being sent to me to accept, but I can't accept it as a 1 USC 1 person. I can't be moved to be a petitionee because a petitioner is offering me something that's shiny. I don't do that anymore. I come in as a people. I'm always a people, and I'm never a legal entity, a legal customer, a nom de gore, because I don't have a delegation authority to be one.
Nom de gore. What about nom de plume?
Sounds like you're saying you do use the legal name. You just tell them that you're the people that's using that legal name. I'm over here on this side of the bar. Put the bill in my name. Oh, yeah, it's not my name. I'm on the other side of a bar. If it takes you that long to explain it to all of us, I could imagine the clerk's eyes rolling while you try to do that.
well, I can see them getting lost very quickly. And are you a sovereign citizen? Yeah, I mean, I can just hear that. I'm not denigrating you in any way, Robert, because what works for you may work for you, and it may not work for everybody else, and everybody else may not be able to perfect that process. And that's what I always say. There's more than one path to the goal that we all seek, and there's many different paths for many different goals, and not everybody has the same goals. So we're
And
just trying to
Floyd,
comprehend.
Floyd, I appreciate you saying that. You know, I work with Crow 777 a bit, and Jason, I'm sure people know that. And Crow has a lot of, you know, legal beagle, whatever we call this thing on here. And I agree with Crow. All this argument when we're talking about whatever this thing is called, I don't even know what to call it anymore, honestly. But
Yeah, I get it.
it's you know what pisses me off, and I go, you know, I also, you know, Alphonse Faggio. You know what I'm sick of is having to cross reference. I'm sick of having to use this dictionary, that dictionary, Black's Law, this and this and this, and Oxford this, and then Wexlaw. You know, can we get the hell out of this? So, I mean, where'd he go? He left, and he's gone. Hey, thanks, Floyd. Anyway, but no, JW is still here, but
Who left? Yeah, Robert's still here. He's at the bottom now.
okay, Robert. I mean, we all agree with a lot what you say, but you're just going through like 5, 10 minutes of things that, like, I just want to know how you compose a letter. What's at the top? What's your return address? What's your return rural route? Or are you putting brackets? Where are you putting the brackets? And then what's at the bottom? I mean, hey,
Did you miss the part about the catchword at the bottom?
yeah, I know what the catchword is. You know what?
Just asked me, everything that you just asked me, I explained, but you're not hearing it because you haven't developed your comprehensive listening yet. You're trying to make it fit in what you already know instead of releasing that.
No, I just want to know how do you communicate to other people? I don't even just to me. Just write me a private letter. You know what? Write me a private letter, and then I know how to reply back to you. How about that? You send me I'll give you my address. You send me a private letter, and I'll send you one back.
Brother, I don't even know if that's going to work because you're not getting what I'm saying to you in voice. So I don't. If you see it on the paper, I don't even think you're going to understand it there either because you won't slow down enough to listen to what I'm telling you here. I've said
I
it three
think I
different
understand.
ways. I've
The
said it three
envelope's going
different
to say,
ways.
I'm not Robert Brown,
You're trying to
right?
make
You're
it.
going to put on the envelope.
CJW is doing it right now. He's trying to make it fit in what he already knows.
No, I'm not trying to make anything fit. I'm trying to make light of it. Like he wants you to send him a letter because he wants to be able to send it back to the person named on the return address.
Yeah,
But the guy ain't got a name, so we're trying to figure out how that works. That's all.
I
So
understand.
I
I
said
understand.
jokingly, it probably says not Robert Brown as the return name.
Yeah.
Or
And I
maybe
can
like
tell you.
10 minutes worth of writing there. And you say I'm insane. I could just imagine you talking to the clerk about how you're set apart on the other side of the bar or whatever that whole spiel was. Every single time somebody wants your name, you got to do that, huh? I bet they call you insane a lot, don't they?
Well,
No, they don't.
no, hold on.
They agree
The,
with
the,
me.
the catchword that he used is "I'm a living soul." Did I
Genesis.
not miss
Yeah.
that?
No, JW should know that. Genesis man, living
Yeah.
soul, had the breath of life breathed
So
into me.
Yes.
They
so
the
okay.
clerk knows me, the local magistrate knows me, the local judge who tried to invite me to a summons, a warrant knows me. So now that I've made this first contact, I have agents and agency that has agreed that none of that stuff's applicable to me. They become legal witnesses because they've already agreed with me. So now the stopping, I get nothing in mails. Nothing, no inducements whatsoever. No for windows, not published clearinghouses, none of that shit. No visas, no cards, none of that shit because the legal contracting does not occur anymore. They can't offer me because I'm set apart. This is the problem. This is the problem with
Hey,
listening.
well, you're missing one thing. So, I love you, but as a living man and all that, again, I want to send you a letter. So I'm not, I'm not in, in the private capacity. I want to send you a letter, and maybe we can start corresponding. So I just want to know how to do that. Okay, so I'm not looking to induce you into any corporate fiduciary. I just, pure love and happiness and all that. I just want to know how we correspond.
Well, Eric, this is the first time I've ever heard your voice. This may be the first time you've ever heard mine. I don't know your specific volition of intent, even though I'm trying to put mine forth to you. You say you love me, but I know a mouth will say anything. So we both know this is a surveillance platform. We both know this is a public platform. We both know this is being recorded, which is a public divulgation of shame. Is what it is. So I can't give you that. I can't give you that. You're asking for something that I can't give you.
Okay, that's good answer. Yeah.
But I
Wait, he's
can
looking
share.
for a template?
Well, I can share with them. I can share with them what I've done and proven to myself as I keep my private record. My private record never gets registered in their state of religious affairs. My private record never gets exposed to their state of religious affairs. I might give them a divine number or a lettered, an articled symbol to identify that I have private contracting with the guy that invoiced me. I put that guy that invoiced me under private contracting, and he didn't like what happened, so he ran to the courts for their help as a 1 USC 1 petitioner without a legal grant. He's being an enemy combatant. So when they send me summons to come to court because they've got a legal petitioner out, they've got a complainant, they want me to volunteer to be a defendant. And if you look up their codification of general appearance, it says I must volunteer to be process received by their plaintiff or petitioner. I don't volunteer to do that anymore. I clearly say it. Forgive me, brothers, but it's my perception that you have a 1 USC 1 insane person on your hands that's trying to be a legal petitioner without a legal authority, and I have him under private contract. Matter of fact, he even gave you part of our private contract and he exposed it to the public, and you have it legally evidenced on your record. Please remove it. Please close the case because I'm not coming. My spiritual standing doesn't allow me to enter your church. You have a separation of church and state. My church doesn't come in your religious state, and your religious state doesn't come into my church.
Have a private contract.
Let's put it in this context. Listen, I've got a brand new MacBook Pro here that I want to gift to you. This is like, I guess you can't even send this guy a brand new MacBook Pro or a GoPro.
No, you can't. You can't send me and give me anything because then I'd be surety for you. If it's not fair exchange and mutual exchange and fair barter, I can't accept any gift from any man.
Okay, for the record, you've given me a lot of information, and you've used up your time. So now I want to fair exchange for value a brand new GoPro. So how do I get the physical GoPro? Okay, so why are these things so hard?
I appreciate the offer. I appreciate the offer.
Robert, how do I do a private contract without a name?
A debit contract.
A private contract. You just said you do a private contracts with people. I guess your private contracts don't have names on them for you.
They don't have legal entity, individual, organized name, at law, in rem names, JW.
So they do have names.
Second, third. Can I answer a question?
It's a yes or no
second,
question. You're not answering.
No, it's not. It's not a yes or no question. They have second, third party penmanships that I use if I need a private contract with some way. It has nothing to do with that law in rem things or a nom de gore like you're trying to pigeonhole it into.
No, I'm just trying to ask you.
It just doesn't work.
These people. No, I'm asking you. You can qualify it with all those qualifiers like what'd you call it? Handwriting, private script. But where's the name? Without a name, there's no contract. You got to have a person named in the contract. So the answer is yes. You do use names private.
Not in that law in realm. Does that answer your question?
That's no, you're not
Does
saying
it
yes.
answer the
I do.
question? Do you
You're
understand what that
qualifying it.
law? Do you understand what that
You're
law
trying to
in realm
avoid
means?
saying yes because you know that I got you.
You don't have anything. This is not a competition, and you can't make me competition. No man can view me as
It's not
competition
a
and make me
competition.
competition anymore in this lifetime. And you can't
No,
either.
it's not a competition. It's just
Then why'd you
weeding
then why'd
out
you say you
BS.
got me? Then why'd you say you got me? That's very telling.
Because you try to answer in the negative and work around not saying yes with all these qualifiers and avoidances. It's a yes or a no. Does your private
Wait a minute.
contract use the name a name of any kind? It has to, or it's not a contract. So I don't know why you're saying you don't have a name, you don't use a name, and because you do.
Hey, JW, let me just interject. You did get competition there, but actually he doesn't need a name. He could be Prince and turn himself into a symbol for
Exactly.
anybody.
Or he could work from a trust, but he would call that raw in rem and all this other stuff.
I don't work anymore. I'm a reformed capitalist of usury Babylonian competitions, JW. I don't work. I play.
You
I
got
don't
an
work
electric
anymore.
bill, so you're either living with mommy or you got a name on the bill.
JW, have you ever looked up the charter to a corporation that says they're there to serve the people, then it moves into persons? Have you ever done that? I don't think you have, because you wouldn't be talking like this if you did.
You got a name on. You got a private one.
Robert. Listen.
You
We're
now
all
are
trying
trying
to lose these skills, but either you're going to be the first person that you're keeping the lights on, you're keeping your Wi-Fi on, you're keeping your car payment, you're putting petrol or fuel or diesel or DEF in your vehicle. Let's see, what else do we need to do? Your property taxes, your rent, your
Can I chime in here for a moment? Excuse
all
me.
this stuff.
JW.
I'm not trying to be
I've been living the past 6 years with no name.
Somebody's talking. Go ahead, Jack. Sorry.
Who said
Yeah,
that?
thanks. Hey, I just wanted to chime in and say I've been living the past 6 years with no name.
Who said that?
It's doable. It's doable.
Who said that?
This is Jack.
Said that.
Oh, so you do have a name. It's called Jack. Okay, thanks.
That's not my legal, or that's not their legal name. You guys acknowledge that the name is a legal name, that it isn't yours, that you don't own it.
We know
That's
that.
what
We
you're
know
supposed to do, establish this.
Everybody know. Okay, we all know we don't listen. My name is Eric, but Jesus Christ! I mean, listen. There's 9 billion people, so they say on this so-called planet.
No,
Yeah,
we're talking about the legal name.'re talking about the name that the government holds title to.
Yeah, we all know that it's not our name. Why would we
Then why are you all striving to continue to be that and to use that and to function with it? Our Father tells us to come out from among them and be separate.
Nope, I don't think
Jesus have a
anybody.
name? Did his mom and dad name him Emmanuel, or did he say no? I'm going to go through life without a name, Mom.
Well, I just wanted to say that I've lived the past 6 years with no numbers, no name. I've got 6 children. We've had internet, we've had food, we've had a vehicle, we've had gas, we've had everything we've needed because the Father provides. You know, He calls us to walk out on the water, and we don't know what that looks like until we're actually out there doing it.
Absolutely.
Everybody wants to know what it looks like, but they don't want to step onto the water to do it themselves.
That Jesus is dancing in that fire that all these men are walking. They're making that hell on earth instead of heaven on earth. He art in heaven. We're supposed to be art here on earth with our creativity, not another man's abstract art. We're not supposed to be animating another man's abstract art. We're supposed to make our own abstract art, and that through his assertion.
Agree with that statement 100%. And I've done that, and I broke their chain of custody. Not only did I leave the jurisdiction of the land shore of the U.S. for 11 years, and these judges declared me dead. So yeah, I've messed up their birth certificate. So I know what listen, everybody agrees what we're talking, but we're trying to figure out here is that how do you communicate with people? There's nobody. Listen, JW, he's got problems, but We all have problems. But for anybody to come in here and say that you're not using a name, you're not. I don't see. Okay, use the thumbprint. I mean, you're using something. You have to be. How do you, like he said, how do you send something to a clerk with not?
I use my Christian name, and it's mine. It's not theirs. They
Well,
don't own it.
so you got a name, right?
As far as the signature, I don't sign anything. I
These
tell them that
people,
it was
there's two so far that say they don't have a name, then they say they do. So I don't know why that means I have problems, Eric. I'm just pointing out their
Because you're
double-mindedness.
not listen. We say we don't have a legal
I
name.
didn't
We don't
ask
adhere
you.
to
That
a
was
legal name.
that wasn't directed to you. Don't be telling me, through your
I'm
filter
trying to
what you
clarify.
think.
You keep repeating the same thing.
You're double-minded,
We're
dude.
not saying
That's
we
the
have a
end of the
name. We're
story.
saying we don't have a
You've been
legal
doing
name.
this for 2.5, 3 years that I've known you, and it never gets anywhere because your ultimate goal, underlying all this fancy talk, is to abandon your estate and inheritance. That's your ultimate
I
goal.
never had one. I never had an inheritance.
Fine,
Never had a
I
state
do.
inheritance. Never.
Wait. There. A lot of people. There is good. I won't say arguments. I almost said.
I don't understand why we keep bringing everything else into the conversation. The conversation we're having is how we do it, and we're trying to tell you how we do it, but people keep adding other men's thinkings in what we're doing, what Jack and I are doing. And that's never going to work. They keep adding things to it and take things away from it instead of listen to what we're saying. That's never going to work. It's
Listen, I'm not 100% sold on the trust either. By the way, just the trust, the broad, what is the trust, what it isn't. I'm not 100% sure on that as well.
but
So I'm going to
you
go
just did
with
it again.
Robert there.
You just did it again though. I didn't mention anything about the trust, but you just brought the trust into what I just said. The only trust that I asseverate is my most highest trust that is offered to every man, living soul man, if he cognizes the fact that he has spiritual awareness, he is the living soul with the breath of life lived in him, and every breath after that is a gift, every one. So I can't take that for granted anymore. I can't lie about it. I can't lie to other people about it. I can't white lie to myself anymore. I gotta correct those seven deadly sins every day, all day. I am a practicing reformist of capitalism usury. I have to step away from that Babylonian whore and quit being codependent on her, of her providing me that matrix womb that I felt so good and warm in. That's what we are doing. We're walking away. We're coming out of her. We're stepping out and coming back in as people. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to use come back in, but we're coming back to them, never touching them. Reality and that at law in REM state can never touch. They can come close, but they can never touch. We come back as people, and we request the public servants to dedicate their life there, to waiting for people to show up, to provide furnishings for us that we deem equitable necessity. It's written in their charters. Go pull one. You'll find out.
And our procedure and our rules of engagement doesn't come from their books.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for saying that, Jack. I'm glad you showed up.
I'm in the middle here, and you guys, Jack, are you guys teaming up? By the way, it's okay. It's okay if you do that. But
For the
Eric.
record, I don't know Jack. I've never met Jack. I just heard his voice for the first time tonight.
okay.
Eric, can I read the definition of people out of Webster's 1828 quickly? It says people, Latin populace, the body of persons who compose a community, town, city, or nation. Person, the vulgar, the mass of illiterate persons is a people. The commonality, as distinct from men of rank, persons of a particular class, a part of a nation or community, as country people, persons in general, any persons indefinitely. People were tempted to lend by great premiums and large interest, for example. A collection or community of animals, that's a people. Yeah, looking good so far, huh, Bobby? The
Okay, now
ants are a
hold on a
people
second.
not strong.
Hold on a second. Now, what part of that definition that we've explained tonight, what part of that it adheres to us when we use the word people. What part of it? You explain that part, JW. You wanted to read that and demean us and belittle us and use that weaponize that definition against us. So you explain to us what part did we
Okay.
use?
So
What
me
part did we
me
use?
reading Webster's makes me weaponizing something again. Your own words. I'm reading the definition of your own words, and you're
No,
importing my intent. You're imputing an intent for my doing so.
no, I'm
You're
not.
taking liberty to tell me what I think and why I'm doing
No,
what I'm
I'm
doing,
not.
as if
I
you're God. I'm just reading the definition. People, the
and then what?
Gentiles,
Then what
to
did you
him.
say? No, hold on a second. You
I
said at
said,
the
looking
last.
good so far.
You said at the last of that definition, it sounds good so far, guys.
Looking good
Smart
so
ass and
far.
smart aleck.
Well, hey,
Now there
you
was
said
one
you're a
part.
people, as
Yes,
if
I
it was a
did.
magic word. And
Yeah, the
there's the
magic.
definition.
Listen, listen. Stop talking. The magic words within that definition that I adhere to is like explained tonight. The whole time, the positive performance. It said men that have no rank. Did you skip that part? I think you did. I think you skipped that part because you wanted to show
No,
your
I read that
ass.
one. I did not skip that one. It's
Yeah,
being
but
recorded, so don't.
that part don't sound good to you. Men of no rank, rank number and file. What's your name, rank, and serial number? I don't have those. You got those because you like common law. You like at law. You like in rem
No,
jurisdiction.
I like
You
equity,
like
brother.
sleepy
I don't
time.
talk about common
You
law.
like sleepy time. You've been asleep this whole
No, you
time.
don't know what I
You're
like,
listening.
Bobby. You really don't.
You're not
You
listening,
don't.
JW.
You,
Everybody
you
else
keep
is
trying to
listening
tell
to
me
me.
who I am, what I think, and why I
No,
do things. You're like you're God or something. Listen
I
to
don't have
yourself.
to ask you who you are. You say who you are
Okay,
in every
let's move
comment you
on.
make.
Hold on, hold
Every
on,
comment you
hold on,
make.
Stop. Let's just move on. You guys are gonna agree to disagree, and no matter how many more minutes, hours we spend with you two going at it like that, we're not gonna get anywhere.
I'll
So
digress.
let's change topics, move somewhere else. We're going to settle this matter with the fact that Robert doesn't have a name. Some way he incorporates himself with the other side without using a name and is able to operate society mysteriously to us, because that's about the simplest way I could put it. Because I still don't comprehend how you deal with these other persons, and that's the Black's Law Dictionary of persons, as well as the United States Supreme Court, to function, because it just doesn't make sense that you can't do that, because most of the entities, persons that you want to deal with, they want some kind of picture ID. Like if you want to go buy a gun in Texas, you cannot use your passport. I cannot use my tribal citizenship ID card. I have to have a state issued ID to buy a firearm. So I don't know how you can
As a legal
complete that.
customer, Floyd, as a legal customer,
Pardon me?
as a legal customer, you can't buy a legal firearm that's numbered and serial numbered as a legal customer without a legal ID. That's the clarification that you're making.
I have a legal ID.
God, and listen, I mean, this guy,
Citizenship ID card.
listen, I'm not trying to be, I agree with a lot what he says, but I just find it unfathomable that this guy navigates through this thing called society, which is a fiction. It's a cesspool, and he gets everything done, buying gas, keeping the. I mean, he's got all his bases covered. I okay.
Yeah, we're just having a hard time digesting that and wrapping our head around it to visualize and go, oh, okay, that's how he does it. And as simple as you try to explain it, that it would be easily understandable for the people that are on this call, because most of us have been in this game for, a nickel or a decade or more.
Okay. I'll say this and then I'll digress.
Okay.
We're I'm I'm never coming in as a legal customer. I'm never trying to purchase, buy, or sell in capitalism. I'm never doing those things as a legal, pretending being a poser as a legal entity ever. I'm being people that has no rank. That the whole definition that JW read, none of it applied except the part of not having a rank. And I've got the right, the divine right, to give a definition, a finition, not a definition, a finite close termination of what I deem people means. And I said many times, and I clarified that in a notice when I first do it. You guys keep missing that part. It's up to you to be still long enough to ask for the answers to come to you, and they will come to you like they've come to me. I followed men for 2 years. JW even said that he witnesses me doing that. I even moderated a Zoom for 2 years of Derek Gonzalez, the Never Ending Zoom. In those 2 years, I have disqualified judges, I have disqualified realtors, I have disqualified attorneys because they're not qualified to talk to me. I'm not in rim, or at law in rim anymore. I've asked for forgiveness to ever mark any of their things. So I'm set apart. That's as most as plain as I said. Once they see that you're set apart and your conduct shows that you're set apart, and I'm not split minded, double thinking, and I keep moving back in there and I flip flop. Once they see the conduct, because that's really what they're registering is conduct, past, present, and future per 1 USC 1. That's their first code 1 USC 1, 1 USC 2, 97 280, general appearance. Those four things will serve you well in your life if you developed your reading comprehension to use them prudently and sagaciously.
And hey, bravo. And I listen. Nobody disagrees with what you're saying fundamentally, but what we're kind of begging to the question that's being begged here is that are you seriously claiming that you've got all your bases covered, or like it's kind of condescending, but I mean, are you living with mom and you that and there's nothing wrong with that if that's the case. But I personally find it difficult to believe that you've got all these bases covered. Like you're putting fuel in your car, or are you not driving?
That's because you won't let it go because you're so invested in them frozen
No.
assets.
Yes, it's a yes or no question. You have all these bases covered.
Yes, I've got all these bases covered, and they're still currently in action. Everything is present, and everything is being activated. You have to activate it yourself, Eric. Even if I gave you a template, would you understand it? Because some of the words I use, you don't understand those. So you have to
Hey,
determine.
listen. I learned long. Listen, I've traveled the world. I know what you're saying.
Well,
The
see,
universe gives me everything I need when and where I need it. Okay, I learned that a long time ago.
okay,
Or I know what you're saying. I know what self-actualization means. I know what you're saying. But hey, this guy might be right. I don't know. I mean, I know exactly what he's saying, but if he's achieved this level, then
I
bravo.
guess let's ask the question differently. Let's ask it this way. Do you have a registration for your car? Yes or no? Do you have license plates on your car? Yes or no? Do you have a bank account tied to a social? Yes or no? See, it they've designed this system to where, and this is one of the things I tell people, the government has certain rights. One of those rights is to regulate commerce. If you are going to operate in commerce, they have the right to regulate it accordingly. Okay? It is not hard to answer that question.
What I've been trying to say. You put it into a couple. Like I tried to say, hey, I'm going to paint your house without. Listen, I'm not bonded. I'm going to paint your house, man to man. Are we gonna look each other in the eye, shake hands, or are we going to write like, hey, a two-paragraph quote unquote contract in the private, man to man? Because you still have to have a name. You still have to have an address. Jesus Christ.
The answer to that is all no, 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 no. And no, I still don't have to have an address because you asked me that question because you don't understand what an address is. Address comes from dress. And when you address me, I have to redress you. That's combat. That is direct combat. So when you use
Okay, well,
me as
wait,
a
wait, stop. You can put your knack. 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 Everybody knows what a knack is, or a lot of people do. You can put your rural row. You can give me a near this corner, that corner, and you can describe it with the greenhouse on the corner of this road and that. But you have to do these things. I have to find. I'm missing.
Eric. Eric, that's called style. That's called style. That's called styling. My style is not going to be your style. You have to develop your style. I'm sorry, you have to develop your style, and you have to do that through divine discernment. You keep trying to make what I'm saying fit in what your understanding of it is, and it's not going to work. Every time you come back with something, you keep saying, "But you got to do this. You got to do this. This system works this way. This system works that way." No, it works the way you put it forth to work if you do it prudently. That's as simple as I can make it, Pastor.
That's not what I was saying. That's not what I was saying. I'm talking physics and biology. I'm not talking about any of their
No,
systems.
you're talking about arts and science of other men's creativity. That's what you're talking about. And they make buildings. They built. They are building constantly, and it's their arts and sciences. Do you have your own? Do you have your own arts and sciences that you're working on?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
I would suggest sticking with those and glean off all these other men and adopt them on your record and foster them prudently so you can have a private record. And that's the true inheritance that you're going to pass off to your offspring. It's not the things, it's the how they can use all things that is in their spiritually physical dominion without making claims of ownership, being in possessive state of minds. That is the true inheritance to me that I will pass on to my offspring, so they'll never be alone. Our Most High will be in their presence at all time. They'll know how to use and animate the natural trust that is freely given to all of us if we accept it.
And the
Go
Father
ahead,
Well,
provides
Pastor.
all of those things that that are being questioned as to how we're going to go about getting. The Father tells us not to worry about those things. He tells us that it's the world that worries about those things and how they're going to get them. He tells us not to be concerned about it. Nobody wants to have faith in the Father, in Messiah, and what His words are.
well,
And
I
that's
disagree with that statement.
hold on a second. And that's where everybody keeps saying, I believe this, I believe that. Where are you putting that belief? Where is your true full faith and credit? Would you give away everything that you had today in full faith that your father would provide? If you will, that therein lies comes your force and effect. That is
Now
your
you
accord and satisfaction.
now you have made a lot of claims tonight, and you say you've done this, you've done that, you've done all this stuff. I'm gonna tell you now. Show receipts. Show proof. Show proof. Because why? If you show proof, people see, people might understand.
Pastor, if you've been listening, you call yourself a pastor. I don't know what that means if you're truly a pastor, but you know that I cannot publish a receipt on a public record. You know that. That's a legal impossibility because one, I don't have the delegation authority to publish to divulgate something on their state of religious thing, like I just said, and two,
So all these claims
no,
of
no, no.
things you said you've done, you can't show proof.
Those aren't claims. Those are offerings, so you guys can glean off of and go foster and adopt, so you can do them yourself. I don't have to do this. I've been here maybe two or three times. I just showed up tonight just to pop in for entertainment because this Atwell
Yeah,
and
you
Rim stuff is purely entertainment to me. There's nothing to be holding here except conversation. So you guys
you've
can take
been
it. Hold on a second.
you've
You
you've
guys,
been here before.
yeah, I said three or four times.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I've seen you other places too, and I've talked to you other places. But you guys can glean off what you want. I've tried to answer every question I can, every way I know how to. But that's the best I can do.
Yeah,
But
and
I'm trying.
the problem is you I recognize part of the problem. You have bought into that David Wynn Miller, Robert J. Gould,
No, no. You've said this
because you
before, and I've
talk
corrected.
like that.
No, you've said this before, and I've corrected you on this before because, and I'm surprised you don't remember this because your exact words were, "I see what the problem is. You're stuck on words." Well, brother, let me tell you something, Pastor. In the
I
beginning, there
never.
was word.
No,
Hold,
it's
hold on a
not
second.
about stuck on words.
Well, that's what you said. You said that to me. You said I was stuck on words. In the beginning, there was word, and that's exactly where these nefarious men went and usurped everything. They added prefixes and suffixes, and like I said, if you're using now time present words in your notices, you'll never have a problem. But if you're being wishy-washy in those words and mixing baratory terms, which are timelines of usury, you're going to have some problems, big problems.
So the
Now,
word people is now
no.
common,
Here's my
vulgar.
problem. Here's my problem with the people that practice that quantum syntax grammar. I have no problem with proper grammar. I have no problem
Nobody's
with
doing that.
proper syntax. You have broke down words tonight
That's
That's not what we were.
that
etymology.
were
That's
We weren't even
never
talking
etymology.
about
meant
that.
to break down.
Brother, that's etymology. And when you look in etymology, it says right, Proto Indo European languages that has roots that are of initialism and of acronyms. So when you make that statement, all that
Etymology.
Westlaw stuff goes out the window because they're pieing you. It's called pie, literally, and they're sectioning you. So if you can't think outside the box because you're stuck in some this learned men is very dangerous to us set apart because they can't cognize this. It's a very simple spiritual concept of our creator that they add all these other abstract arts and concepts of other men too. And it's never going to work. It says right in there, Proto Indo European languages of initialism and acronyms. So that means each letter means something, means
Yes,
something.
and I said,
Oh, wait. Let me interject. Actually, unlike you, 我可以说中文和中文管其实是 So yeah, what I'm telling you is I speak Chinese. And by the way, Pastor and I were having a talk. People call it quantum and all this. I would say that this whole David Wynn Miller and all that, they've usurped something. It's the old language. It's the old Gaelic Chinese characters before this Latinization, phonetic nonsense languages. So I think probably a lot of people know that the phonetic languages, the Latinization, yeah, it is the mark of the beast. So you call yourself set apart just because you say it. I set myself apart by walking the talk.
No, he says he's set apart because he no longer participates in the system of mammon. You all are still participating in the system of mammon and trying to figure out how you're going to free yourselves at the same time, and it doesn't work. You can't serve two masters.
I just
You can't
freaking
write
talked
two
to a guy
lines.
tonight that did free himself. Guess
No, he
what?
didn't.
Yes, he did. Okay, yeah, you're echoing too bad, somebody.
How did he do it?
He did it through a DBA.
That's a legal grant. DBA is a legal grant
I
to
want to ask
protect
these
you.
two guys. So right now you're on Telegram. So they're either using their data plan on their mobile phone, cell phone for Americans, or
Correct.
they're on a home, internet connection. So
Correct.
how's that getting paid? Just a simple question. How's that getting paid?
I'm in remote Alaska, and I'm using a straight talk phone. Prepaid. It's paid. I don't owe anything. I don't have a bill. I don't have any name associated with it.
No
But
contract.
but you still have to pay for it somehow.
Father provides good.
It's not the point. We know he does. You still operate in commerce because you have to pay for it.
No contract. No, I just handle and pass military script here and there. I work in barter. I work for love. Ultimately, I mean, when I do a job for somebody, I don't establish an hourly rate.
I gave hey, I'm gonna start sending Valentine's cards to my internet. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Allow.
Listen, you either W4'd it or you did, come on. How do you keep? Come on. Do you get a bill for your internet? Yes or no?
No.
No. But you're in Canada, right? You said it.
I like that. Jack uses FRNs without, and he turn around and lectures us for doing the same. And you call us double-minded.
Well, it's going to be a whole nother ball game when the currency goes digital, eh?
Well, hold on a second.
I got a good one. So I assume you have like a car or a pickup truck or maybe a little motorbike or a Vespa. So when you roll up to the petrol station or the gas station, how's that work out? How do you know?
brothers, listen. When you have, when you have been given the spiritual, physical dominion for free, it's for free. All you gotta do is accept it. You can use and
You're
animate.
not walking. You are not walking up to the gas pump and it's mysteriously filling up your car. You're
Of course,
sitting there walking into a store. You're using some form of payment
of
to
course. I was getting there. I was
pay
getting there.
for
I was getting there
that.
before you
Just say
finish.
it. Just say it. Don't say brothers, and just say how it works. You have a car. Just how do you
Okay,
do it?
listen. I'm gonna say it again for the 100th time. You can't make this fit into what you understand. I can animate anything in this world that I want to, as long as I don't trespass on another man. So that includes the company store paper, the debt scripts that they call ferns. They're just fucking paper. They're undenatured trees. They have plastic them into a fabric, into a material that you was talking about before of usury. I don't animate them in usury. I pull up to a gas station and use them prudently. It's fair barter and free exchange. I give a man who believes that there's a number on that paper, then he believes it has a false measure and value. I don't care what he does with it after, but I know how I'm using it. You keep making it try to fit in what you already know, and it's never going to work. I said that for 5 times, but you guys keep coming back with these examples that we're doing it wrong. If you would listen better and not quit trying to make it fit in what you think you already know, it will work for you. I'll digress with that. I don't know what else to say.
I have a question, please, for either Robert or Jack, if that is your name. Um, what if the father called you to travel from the United States of America to Europe and it required a passport? How would that work for you?
Does it not say in their King James version of the word? And actually, I use the scriptures 2009.
Just put it in. Come on. Just answer the question in a material, normal way, please. Don't.
This is what I'm talking about. I was answering the question, and you're trying to make it fit. You just shut off before I could even answer it. Does it not say in their King James version, which they've already agreed to on Public Law 97-280, that our Creator controls my ingress and egresses? Does it not say that? I use the the scripture book, which is 2009 IRS version of the true word of God. It's supposedly, allegedly, and that is my church. I bring it to their church, and I agree with them that they've already put it on record that their creator, our mutual creator, controls my ingresses and egresses. So how could a at law in rim passport even figure into the picture unless I animate it? See, you shut me off before I finish because you're trying to make it fit. Listen, I just want to thank everybody for your time. I put this stuff out there so you can glean off of. I'm going to have to go. Jack, thank you for popping in there. It's very nice to meet you, and keep walking that path, brother, because I know there's only one, and there's not all these many ways to skin the cat. That cat don't like that. Folks that say that don't know catheticism, and it's directly related to dogmatic behavior. It is the cat chasing the dog back and forth, and those are very powerful words. If you want to go, folks want to go look them up. So I appreciate you guys' time, and I may pop back in some other time. And I do wish you all well. I really do.
Hey, peace, brother.
Yes, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate your knowledge, your wisdom, and I want to thank you for coming. Come back.
100% agree.
Thank you all. All grace to our Most High. Thank you.
Hey, listen, what Robert was talking about, I can attest to what he's saying. So the guy that asked the thing about flying through an airport, for example, yes, I can attest to the fact that yes, I travel a lot. My wife is, I have a home in Shanghai, China. So guess what? Before COVID, I was traveling the world a bit. But when I would go to an airport, I can attest to what he was saying. I would walk up to this thing where they do the security, and I would just look at somebody with making, I call it Jedi mind trick. I would say things like, "What's your private, what is your private policy today?" And I would go through I would basically be let through where the pilots go through and unmolested. But I still had to have a passport. So people that are coming out here and claiming that they got all these bases covered, I'm sorry. I know what he's talking about. I know exactly what he's talking about, and I'm sure everybody does here to a degree. But to come in here and claim that, man, I mean, he's either just living a very simple, modest life, which is cool, but I find it hard to believe that you can just go through this thing called society 100% this way. I know I know Floyd. Almost everybody here has a success story, but to come in here and claim that you're 100% successful, well, I don't know what the term is, but I yield.
I
Well,
don't
I
claim to
agree
be
with you.
My
100%
problem is,
successful, Eric.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are 100% successful. That would be
He who endures to the end,
wrong.
right?
Yeah, I just, have a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that it sounds like he lives in a tent in the middle of the woods off the
Okay,
grid.
okay, okay. No, I don't live in a tent, but here's
Well, yeah,
here.
I'm not saying you do.
Okay,
That's kind
here's
of
what.
what it sounds like and looks like.
Okay, okay. It's because that belief thing that Eric keeps bringing up. His beliefs are his beliefs, and my faith is my faith. That's the separation. I know
Right.
that their state of religion is managing the depressions of life. Okay, that's really what they're doing. It's called savoir faire. It is the French version of emotions. That's what they manage. The emotions that's within me, the husbandry that's within me, the mother that I'm nurturing, the father that I'm seeking approval from, the little boy that's still immature, that's looking for the love of the father, the little girl that's throwing a fit and pissing and moaning. They're all within me. And that's what they talk about being secured in your persons, your personalities. It's personality forming. That's what they regulate. It's the states of depression of men. It's because the humors of men. Now, with that said, if I'm not a if I'm secure, I'm no longer carrying those loads. I'm not of that volunteered suffrages, the Greek tragedies that they are regulating. It's that simple. Once you secure yourself in your personalities and you don't have to lash out to people, did I get loud? Yeah, but I don't hold any grudges to anybody. I've known JW a long time. I love the guy. I enjoy talking to him when we have a good conversation. Most of the time, we don't have a good conversation because these things come up and he doesn't understand them. And I keep trying to put him in a way that he will understand them, but some people you just can't get to. So what do? I just keep popping in these Zooms and trying to spread the seed. That's the best I can do for you guys. That's all I can do. I can't publish anything for you. I can't send you anything because I don't know if that trust is there yet to send you something that you won't go publish it because I can't be surety for you. And that's as
yes,
simple as I can make
but
it.
the yeah, but the self as and based on the way you say things and do things is that you live this life and everything just magically appears for
I
you
never said
and that
that.
you don't operate in commerce
I
at
don't operate
all.
in commerce at all. I do not operate
You
in
go out in the public. That is commerce.
Listen, brother, when you say commerce, I'm hearing you say legal intercourse commerce that you are a guru of. You this is what you do. Now, here's what I do. I say set apart from that. And when I come to do these things that they have monopolized on this earth, the public trust has monopolized Mother Earth. So other men won't do it. They're holding it for people to show up. And they put the surpluses out in these military stores so they can attract legal customers to get rid of this shit. They have to unload it or they're going to throw it in the dumpster. So what do? They induce everybody to come in their company store and active usury to purchase their dominion back. I don't have to purchase it back. It was already mine. Parts of that little toy, parts of that foodstuffs was mine to begin with. Why would I buy it back? It was given it to all of us. So when I
But
go
you're
out
not
there,
walking into a store, getting the food, and walking out without submitting some form of payment. By
listen,
submitting some form of payment, you are engaging in commerce.
Now, Malika says she does that.
yes, and because he's trying to
Is it-
make it fit in his understanding, and
Yeah,
Floyd,
yeah,
keep
yeah. I
hearing
get
it.
that.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
but
here's
I've
what I'm
heard
saying.
Malika
Here's
say,
what I'm saying. If you want to go, if I want to go in there on the spur of the moment and grab something that I forgot and pay those company debt scripts, I'm not using them. I'm just pulling papers on my pocket and doing that. That's all I'm doing. And I got them papers, but through free barter and fair exchange. If I go there a lot, I will notice those people appropriately to the appropriate people and go in there and get the stuff I need because they already know me. I'm set apart. They created it for me, not the legal customers that commonly use it, of the disgusting general public that is of vulgar language. I don't know how else to say
You're
it.
speaking my language. Now, you know what? I call it the public cesspool.
It
I,
is.
I know what you're talking about. I know.
And I was part of that. So when I say these things, I'm not talking down to anybody. I'm just trying to share the fact that I was of this. I was a surgical tech for 15 years. I was in pharmaca when I figured out what that was, pledging to these gods this narrative that they put forth. I walked out. I walked out. Just walked away. Took a 2 week vacation. Never went back. Ever since then, I've never signed another thing for them. They don't get no more of my time. They don't get no more of my concern. Concern's a very powerful word. Go look up concern. It will serve you well. I promise.
okay.
The Hadron isn't the Hadron Collider called CERN as well? I know. We know. I think a lot of us know what concern means.
It's in
Yeah, that's the
CERN's
same thing.
one. That's its affiliation with CERN, geographical location.
Keep that dog quiet. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yeah, I'm stopping the truck. She's like excited because she gets to go out.
Oh my God, you're like my buddy Robert. All right, what do you got a Chihuahua in your truck?
That's not a Chihuahua. She's a 54-pound pit bull mix.
Dang.
And then and she's a little over 3. And then I've got a white cat. Well, mostly white. That's 1. Or getting ready to be 1. Hey,
Hey,
Marshmallow.
Pastor, what
Yeah.
when the chat is saved on Telegram,
Hmm.
it's a OOG file. What do you
Yeah.
convert that to upload it to Rumble, or do you upload the OOG file?
Well, in my saved folder, I get 2 files.
Oh,
Okay. I get a video file and
mhm.
I get a audio file. I never use the audio file. I use the video file.
Floyd,
Okay.
I can help you out with that. I'm very techy. Are you a Mac user or a PC user?
PC.
Okay. OOG, that's yeah, I don't know what that what look up a program called Amadeus Pro. Amadeus, like the composer.
Okay.
Man, you can cut stuff. You can cut yeah, Amadeus. I'm pretty sure they make it for a PC. But to upload if you're gonna put it in the public or Dropbox, yeah, OOG, most people don't even it should be either MP3 or MP4 or
YouTube
Apple.
won't take MP3s.
Now, I'm sending you a picture, Floyd. If you look at that picture, you'll see 4 items. You'll see on top, there's an audio file, and on top of that is the video file. Okay. Then you'll see the audio file, and on top of that's the video file. That's what shows up in my save folder.
Okay.
And so what do I download the video file. I never do the audio file because the audio file is OG or whatever. And being I do have an Apple, it doesn't recognize it. So I never use the audio file. I grab the video file, save it to my photos, then open up Rumble and upload it to that.
Okay. Yeah, I've been dicking with this for the last hour.
Floyd, would you be interested in having my buddy Kirk Callan back on one of your next videos?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm open to anybody and everybody. That's just, like I said, this community is so small. A lot of you guys I met in Derek's, month-long Zoom, 24/7 Zoom. And some of you guys I've stayed in contact with since then. Some of them drifted off. I've met a lot of new people since then. But it's a very small community. There's even a smaller group of honorable people who really want to help each other get, progressively forward, whatever that looks like for them.
Well, Pastor and I were talking the other day. I've been at this. Listen, I'm 51. I grew up in the 80s. I've been what we used to call an anarchist. So
right.
I know it's a loaded term, but I know, man. You brother, you're looking. No, not brother, man. You look good.
Oh,
Look,
well.
now me, I look at it like this: there is a large community out there trying to teach people, and a lot of it's crap. And there's too much pride involved among all the teachers because you can throw a rock and hit a teacher. And one of the things Rice TV always said when he would bring somebody, occasionally he would bring on Brian Parker, or I think he's interviewed, Anna. He's brought on a few of them because he mainly deals with crypto. But one of the things he's always asked is, all you people talk about you have the answer. Why can't you work together? And I said, honestly, I can answer his question. It's pride. I said, you got too many people that think they have all the answers and theirs is the only right answer, that they can't help anybody because no one man knows all the law. We all know bits and pieces. And that's why I'm like I am. That's why I teach like I do. That's why I keep a wise counsel. That's why when I teach the stuff I've took it to other people and said, tell me if I'm wrong, critique what I'm saying. If I'm wrong, show me where. Because why? I want to be better.
Yep.
But if I get an agreement amongst a lot of people that says, no, what you're saying makes sense, then I stick to it until I learn something else.
Yeah, I don't teach, and I don't think I ever will be a teacher because I'm a Leo. I'm a pig in Chinese, and I've been at this for a long time. I'm not an alpha, but I'm probably a gamma, or no, not a gamma. I use the Socratic method. So I'm a mediator. I'm a team builder. That's how I quote unquote lead. I think I showed that tonight where, I just try to, be, I can take the lead, but not to be a teacher or a guru. I just, listen, I'm visually oriented. and I can lay out an app, but I walk away. I'm project oriented. I'm not, being a teacher.
Yeah,
You're always,
I don't want to be.
everybody's a teacher.
Yeah, I don't want to be a guru. I want to be the guy that brings all the smart people together as a consortium to help other people to put it all together. And I
Yes,
know
we both
to be, to be very intelligent, you have to surround yourself with people who are smart. And I've learned that a long time ago. That's generally what this channel's for. That's why I let you guys go and run, to just see where it goes. And every now and then I'll have to step in and kind of, steer the conversation, you know, to a cleaner aspect, as I'll say. But otherwise, you know, I'm very grateful and very blessed, and love each and every one of you that are on in the group. Watch the videos, subscribe, and share them all. This is just a remarkable thing. And
Well, Floyd, let me give you one. There's so many channels out there that are called, Christopher Hauser channel, this channel, that channel, and then you don't see the quote unquote brand. Like where's Floyd? Oh, this is the Fearless Floyd channel, but Floyd's never here. So bravo for that, because I'm sick of these channels that are called this and that,
And then the
and
teacher disappears.
bingo.
yeah, well,
Not the teacher, not the teacher. I mean,
on-
this is Floyd's channel. If he's not here, well then I have to say it's not Floyd's channel. So why I'm in Floyd's channel, rename it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, Pastor's on TikTok. Now, if I was on TikTok, I could probably have 100,000 subscribers. But that's not what I want, and that's what I tell people on my videos. I don't want to be that guy. I like this a small, select community of people that when you get on, post, next time you get on, a couple hours later, there's 400 posts. So you can't even keep up with the narrative. And I
Yeah.
don't like that.
And that's,
'cause
and
I don't like taking a break and getting back on and like, God damn, I got to read, 300 things.
and Floyd, I'm actually in agreement with you on that, and that's why I am pondering, and I haven't decided yet to do it, but I'm pondering the premium subscription for Telegram, because when you do that, you can actually have multiple groups. You can have
I have
multiple groups. Well, what I'm saying is you can have your main followers group, say it's 10,000 people, but then
Right.
you can have a smaller group of people that you've gotten to know over the years, are serious, and they go into that group. Okay. And I was reading the different stuff for the premium, and some of it that they offer, some of it's just worthless. Like, who cares about animated emojis? I don't care.
Right. Yeah, I
You know what
saw
I'm
that.
saying? But
Yeah.
some of the features are actually nice. Now, the only thing they don't do is a subscription channel yet. Now, there are bots out there for that, though. But it's
Right.
like they need to implement that, because then your subscribers are even a smaller group, and then they are donating for your time.
Well,
Well, I can say this: 836 miles. I think I'm done.
yeah. Well, you almost got that 900.
I got 548 to go.
Are you what do you wow.
What am I allowed?
No. I know. No. So you like driving at night, I gather here.
No.
Well,
But
it's 2:30.
I'm running COVID exempt. So I run until I get tired.
Yeah, but then you got to shut down after 5 p.m. on it. Well, it is the week. It's the weekend. You're good to go. Well, you pull it. I mean, you've been doing this a while. You probably don't. You probably know where all the good mom and pop truck stops are, don't you?
To a degree, yeah. No, but no, under COVID exemption, you can proverbially throw the logbook out the window. In
No, no,
other
I'm not talking
words,
about that. Like, but no. So where are you? It's at least midnight there.
I am in Montana and it is 12:30.
There you go. So it's the weekend. So for anybody that's never driven a 18 wheeler, on the weekend the truck stops are pretty good. If
Yeah.
it was a weekday night, man, when I was driving a truck, if I wasn't in a truck stop by 5:30, you're
It depends on location. Yeah. New England,
oh,
it's
God,
hard to find parking.
yeah.
But no, I don't normally prefer driving at night. I mean, I started my clock this morning at 9:45 Eastern.
Well, you're late, man. I should start 6 was late for me. I was like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, but see, the day before, I started my clock at 7:45 and I ran till 11:15 the previous night. So I slept. I took my 10 hours off, and so I started at 9:45 this morning, and then I've run all day. Now, under normal running conditions, legally, I couldn't do 836 miles
You did 836 today?
today. Yeah,
That's good.
I mean, not in 11 hours. I went over my 11 hours by an hour and 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, under COVID exemption, I love it because I can run when I'm tired. I pull over and take a nap, or I go to bed. When I'm awake, I run. I'm not beholden to the exact hours prescribed.
That's how I was doing. Even I figured a way to do that.
Back
Basically,
under loose leaf, you could do that.
well, when I was driving a load from, let's say, Pennsylvania or Jersey down to Florida, because I was on the what they call the 95 route, which was east of the Mississippi, and I was mostly doing, just East Coast, down to Florida and back. I mean, there was days where I would just drive 5 hours. I had 3 days to get the load there, and then I would drive hard 11, and then I would push up to 12, 12 and a half. 12 and a half, I can do it on occasion, but hey, 5, 6 hours of driving generally, that's good. But
Well,
11, 12 hours.
the fun one is going to be um, the next load, and here's why. Let me get the miles figured out here. Let's see.
So, hey, with this whole, how do you become an owner operator and not, you know what I'm saying?
So Gwen Road directions, and I got to go to Monroe, North Carolina. Paste Monroe, North Carolina, from there to route, and I'm supposed to deliver